Welcome to Cards of Insight, where we discuss all things tarot. And I'm Greg, and I live in London.
Anna here, joining you all the way from sunny Brazil.
Susan here. I'm here in Canada.
And Pavlina, greetings from London, UK.
And we are all tarot readers.
Hi, Susan. I had a question about tarot cards and astrology, and I know you are a Western astrologer. Use Placidus, right? Correct?
Correct. I do more Western astrology than the astrology that you do for sure.
I am Jyotish astrologer. So, how do you use the astrology in tarot cards?
How I use the astrology in my tarot cards is that I just look at, okay, where do I see the sun in my tarot cards? And for me, the sun represents the self and the ego and masculine. It's also a masculine symbol. And it also represents a lot of energy because it's the brightness of the sun, correct? And because it's a sun, there's always enlightenment, I feel, and radiance and illumination, of course, of that sun showing up. So that's when I look at, like in the cards, okay, where do these things show up? Like other than the sun card, for example, which is the obvious, like I am the sun.
Yes, it's got a name on it as well. I can see the sun as well in Ace of Pentacles because it's getting bigger. Like it's just very strong. I want to shine.
And you can see that the hand is holding that pentacle out there. So yes, I could see the sun in there as well. It's illumination. And it's also that godly kind of look of being out in the air. I do see that where that could be representative. Anna, do you see what card would be obvious to you for the sun?
Six of Wands. There's a lot of ego there. He is, me and God. He needs that. He's the center of attention, not necessarily in a good way, but that's an ego card. There's many masculine and vibrant cards. I see the Chariot as one because it's the energy, it's success energy, and I don't know. There's a male force going on in the Chariot that I see there. There's also for radiance, enlightenment, and illumination. I would even see the Ten of Pentacles as the sun because everything is so nice. Everything is so bright and I can see clearly now. I mean, the rain is gone. There's rainbows. So yeah, I could see the sun there. My concern would be seeing the sun as something negative. So could that also show up as, being burnt or showing excess of ego or being too selfish?
Exactly. Yeah, the ego, negative ego. You're letting your ego radiate versus the godliness of the self.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see anything, Greg?
Yeah, to me, well, for me it's obvious. Bringing light onto the situation. Sort of, let's put on the bad light because everybody likes the sun. Let's paint a scenario. What I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're working in a company and you're thinking you're doing a good job, and sometimes you might bodge things to make you look good, and you sort of think you're doing good and you're the hero or whatever. But then somebody else comes and starts working there, perhaps a new manager, or perhaps somebody else has got a lot more experience and shedding light on the situation of what's happening. Some people don't like that.
So what card would you associate with that?
The sun.
Just the sun. The sun is the only card that you see the sun in.
No, I see the sun as, because that's the sun on a negative light. Now I'm going to take a negative card and put a positive light on it. Because when you look at the death card, it doesn't mean you're going to die. It means the death of something, either a situation or a mindset or the death of a relationship. But everybody seems to fail to see that sun in the background, in the distance, particularly in the right-of-way. It's in the background, there's a sun there. And you could argue and say the sun's rising or the sun's setting. but it's a death card. And I always see as a change as a new start and something positive. And that sun in the distance, although it's shedding light, it's showing you that there's some positivity. There's something to look forward to. It's a sense of happiness, brightness. Everything's going to be all right. It's when you wake up in the morning and you see a sun in the morning, that's sort of the sun in the distance in the death card. Might be not the best time of your life, but you've opened the window and you saw the sun. And the sun's given you hope, and you know it's going up, it's rising. So I see the sun in the death card as well. Would you like another example?
Sure.
Right, let me think. What about a different version of the sun? Because when I look at the star card, the main star in there is also a sun. But to me, it's a lot more powerful than our sun, because our sun is only bright because it's our closest star. But the star in the star card is the brightest star in the sky.
It's illumination. It could be an illumination to a situation or event or whatever is happening. Yes, I can see that.
Does the sun represent power?
To me, absolutely.
But what sort of power?
You see, when you said Anna power, so the power could be as well, like, because the sun represents your father in astrology. So that could be the emperor card.
So it's more of, it's not a, what sort of power would that be? Power over somebody?
Yes.
Or power by oh my God, hierarchy.
No, yeah, it's the, like when you want to be like a ruler, you have to show your son you're ruling something, right?
Yeah, so it's a status thing. It's not a power, let's say, of a person winning a game, because that's physical power. That's what I meant. I mean, what sort of power can the sun represent?
To me, it would be like an enlightened ruler, like the emperor would be someone, representing God, or represent like in the ideals, that they would be more enlightened, and therefore it's not about your ego. It's a much more godliness that's being represented.
Follow me. I know what I'm doing.
It's a fame, sun could mean as well seeking the fame,
So ultimately the Hierophant could be the sun too, because he has followers, not necessarily the emperor.
But
right?
what about the Fool card? Because in the Fool card gives you that reassurance that God, it's all in your hands. Just trust the universe. Everything's in your hands. And that sun gives you that reassurance, particularly in the Fool card. I mean, you all think the card's a fool, but when you see the sun in the background, you think maybe it's going to turn out all right for the guy. There's a sun there in the background. For me, it's a positive thing. It can mean...
It's having faith.
Yes. Thank you, Susan. Yes.
Faith or confidence?
While the Fool card has got confidence due to ignorance.
Yeah, you may have trust, have faith for things to work out.
Confidence, to me, is more on a personal self-assurance. And faith is more on, things will turn out right because it's fate, because I believe in the stars, or because I have it in me that it's going to turn out right. It's more spiritual. It's not so much, I've trained so much, I know I'm going to win this game. That's confidence for me. Would that be the sun as well?
Yes, to me it would be.
Yes, it would be. Obviously, we are not talking about positions in zodiac signs. We're talking about just about planets.
Yeah, just the energy of the planet. Sure.
For a person that doesn't know astrology like me, we always, in general, people associate themselves with their sun sign, right? And because sun sign is what people see, what shows out and what radiates that other people pick up on. It's like sort of makes you. That's what I see the sun is. It's like free.
Well, the moon, it represents more the inner self, where the sun was like outer self. This is inner self. And it's definitely more feminine. And I think it also represents like reflection within yourself or situation, and receptivity, like, what am I getting out of this? And so you're a changer of existence. When I look at literally the moon card, you can see where you have to go into that self-reflection and come out, and now you've got more awareness of, what the situation really is. So that to me is where, when literally the moon card shows up, that's where you see I'm coming out of not understanding a situation to now having more clarity about the situation.
But it's more psychological, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought of the devil, honestly. Because the devil has a lot to do with the unconscious, of the fears you have, of the demons you carry. I mean, you have to get rid of all your demons. So even though it's very fiery, I don't associate it with the sun at all. The moon for me, especially because I also see the devil as things that you carry through childhood and that you don't want to, mess up with because they hurt and they may blow up, in adult life. So I would see the devil as a perfect moon card besides the moon card.
Well, I can see the devil where you're having to fight your demons. You have to go within yourself, and because it talks a lot about addiction, which means you have to go within in order to conquer those addictions.
I think High Priestess is, it's like meditation and calming mind.
I also like the High Priestess because she's intuitive and sensitive to their environment.
What about the hangman, guys? The hangman, I'm in two minds about the hangman, because the hangman, he is reflective in some ways, but he's also a person who does sacrifices. And if you sacrifice something, you're not doing it for yourself necessarily. You might be doing it for someone else. So it's not for within, it's for without, if it makes any sense. You're aiming that to someone outside of yourself. You're not just working with yourself only. You're doing that to get a result on someone else on the outside.
For me, because the moon is what Susan said is feminine. So to me, that's more of the sun will sort of show you, puts out, whereas the moon will absorb its environment, sort of taking what is given, the positive, it takes it in. So it absorbs. And I would think that a moon card thinks more about themselves and their inner selves more than they do what other people think. They're more inward type people. So I can see what Anna's saying about the hanged man, because he's thinking on a more deeper level, probably for the greater good, maybe, but is more concerned about less about image and more about how people feel. It's more of a personal thing.
But it's also mental, isn't it? It's also mental. So it might be Mercury. It's the only thing I know is that Mercury, it's about thoughts and communication. So
another moon card for me is the Queen of Cups. I've always said to myself, is she really studying something really hard and can see things in detail? Or is she intuitive and getting in touch with things around her and the environment? Because she really looks like she's in a dazed or in a dream world when she's looking at that cup. And she's probably connecting more on a spiritual level. And she's more emotional. I think she's more closer to the moon as well, the Queen of Cups.
I'd have to agree with that. And what opens it up, because when you look at the cups overall, or any card where there's water, and that's represent emotion. Mm-hmm. So with that, you can see that there's a lot of tarot cards that have water in it, not just, say, the cups cards, because not all of them have water in it, but you've got like the Ace of Cups. It's overflowing with water. And so that could be, overflowing in emotion and reflection, an upheaval of different things happening.
You see, though, in Rider-Waite deck on Empress, there is Venus, sign. It could be as well moon, because moon represents your motherhood. So I think Empress got a moon energy as well inside. She's nurturing, caring about other people.
What about the Queen of Coins? She's also an excellent mother. She's a good mother.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, I can see that too.
For the moon, I would rather do the Queen of Cups, definitely, for the moon, because of the water, like Susan said.
If you talk about water, I agree. Water is in almost all the cups cards. But what about, for example, the Eight of Swords? You have that water underneath the lady, and that card is really, really about inner turmoil to me, as the Nine of Swords as well. But we don't have water in the Nine of Swords. Would you girls think that the Eight of Swords could be a moon card of fear?
Yeah, it could be fear,
right?
and the water, and the water could be the release of fear.
I have to say, I can't see the moon in Eight of Swords. And I can see the commitment. Your life, you have to do something. You have to go through something. I believe this is the Saturn energy.
Saturn? Yeah, because of what? Limitations and, impositions and, Okay. All right. Makes sense.
So how about we go to famous Mercury?
Yes.
Mercury. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Mercury.
Unpredictable. Do you know what? I've got two. I could say the Five of Wands, and I could also say the Eight of Wands.
So, Mercury is communication, and mental thinking, speed, moving.
And what about chaos?
Why the Five of Wands?
The Mercury's just... Well, I'm glad you asked, because I just thought Mercury's moving all the time. And I think even though... That's why I said both the Eight of Wands and the Five, because it's both chaos and communication at the same time, because I think Mercury just causes chaos. It just moves too fast and changes. And when you have Mercury retrograde, things break and stuff. I can't touch anything on a Mercury retrograde. It will break.
Oh, get your Knight of Swords for that. I mean, that guy is...
Yeah, I know. I'm going to call it the Five of... That's why I said the Five of Wands in terms of that. But in terms of communication and getting stuff done and moving fast, definitely the Eight of Wands.
And the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is the one that is stopping for no one. That man has something to say.
Yeah, but has he planned his route properly, though? Because he's a bit, quick on the draw there.
Exactly. He's quick.
Okay.
And he has something to say, and he doesn't care if people don't want to listen to him. He will say it anyway.
He's very focused, right? He knows where he's going.
God, he's just hasty. Even the horses is wondering what's wrong with this guy.
They're charging.
Yeah, definitely charging. Eight of Wands, I agree. It's a very fast card.
So no one can agree on the Five of Wands. That's interesting. Cool.
I don't know. It's not fast.
I see it as fiery more than.
Okay, no, fair enough. It's just to me.
Well, you could say the communication, okay? And there's a difference in it's bouncing back and forth, because Mercury does represent communication. So you have it going here and you're going there. So it's bouncing, not necessarily like an erratic way, but it can be erratic. But that's where I feel that that's a good communications card, because it could be more than one communication going on, and it can be inner and as well as outer.
Five of Wands, I was speaking of retrogrades because I don't like Mercury retrogrades. So that's why I put that there.
So that would be reverse.
That's it. Mercury retrogrades, Five of Wands. Yeah.
Could you say the Five of Swords?
I don't know. That's Mars for me.
Yeah. Well, but it's retrograde.
Well, we are talking generally about the energy of the planet, right? that doesn't mean the Mercury will be always like on good communication skills in the planet, as well. It means very skilled people, skilled knowledge. So if you look at that, for me, it's two cards. It's a magician, obviously, because he's got lots of tools there. And the second one is the famous thief, Seven of Swords.
Why?
That's because he's fast and he's skilled. He's sneaking out from the camp. Okay, he knows what he's doing. So he's sneaking out.
Where does skill come to Mercury? Is Mercury always skilled?
It's mental thinking.
Yeah, mental thinking, how you think, how you approach the problems, how you are able to.
So if it's mental thinking, the Nine of Swords would be a Mercury card because that's a lot of mental thinking.
Yes.
But why not the Moon? This is where I get confused because the Moon is about worries and things that you want to work within yourself, and that's also thing. Sometimes the thoughts and feelings mesh, and then there's chaos.
You see, there is a different Mercury and Moon. Moon is the inside the psychology. Mercury is, for example, sharp tongue. You speak up. You don't, it's Mercury is about talking, the knowledge and skills. Yes, you can combine them with the Moon there once you see it in the chart, but if you separate them though, Moon is inside meditation, deep thinking. It could be about blockage as well in your mindset. Mercury is learning the skills, how you talk to other people.
So from what you're saying, see if I got it right. The Mercury is about how the mind can work outwards to get something, to be skilled.
Correct.
And the mind in the Moon is working within yourself. You're not doing anything to someone outside yourself. You're just working within yourself.
Yeah, it's like when you are inside your mind, your mindset. So I think the Seven of Swords in the Rider-Waite deck, though, is like definitely skilled and knows how he's sneaking out from the camp. Nobody is catching him up. And magician definitely for me. I would say number one is magician as a generally for Mercury, but maybe Mercury retrograde, right?
I can see your Seven of Swords. I'm struggling a bit with the magician, Pavlina.
He's got skills because look at that. He's using all his tools because Mercury means how you use the tools, how you learn the things, how you build something. And he's got all those tools he is using.
He's figured it out how to get away with it.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a master communicator. It's about communication. He knows how to control the audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like one of those big talk shows. If the man can captivate an audience, the whole audience, he probably is the magician. And that's probably Mercury. He do you call it glib? You know how to use the word in a way that you make people do what you want and you captivate the audience. So yes, he knows how to do it. Yeah. The magician I got it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a performer in theater or musician, anything, your Mercury has to be in right position. So, and he's performing magician for me.
Okay, makes more sense now.
Mm-hmm. Those are good examples.
Let's talk about love.
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 Venus.
Love.
Got no astrology skills, so I'm having a stab.
Yeah,
at
me
it.
neither.
I'm not going to use a lover's card because that's obvious. Let's go for the next best obvious. Let's keep it simple. I've got to love the Two of Cups. Come on.
Oh, yes, come on.
That's a Venus. Okay.
Yeah, lovely card. Do I need to explain why I see it that way?
Yeah, then we go into the self-love thing.
Well, I will explain it. Well, it's the sharing of a same emotion, a mutual agreement, which is a mutual agreement of emotion because they're both holding cups.
Attraction. You can see the attraction.
a representative of a relationship.
Venus also represents fertility, which would be the Empress.
And she's got a Venus symbol planet.
Exactly. She's a full-fledged Venus.
Venus is also about romance, right?
Correct.
What about the sexy Queen of Wands?
What about self-love?
Yeah.
Isn't that more vanity or self-love?
It can be vanity. A narcissist.
Yeah, a narcissist, the big one.
Yes, what card would be the narcissist?
Yeah, the Nine of Cups. It's my narcissist.
The world, the naked world.
Because a self-portrait of them on the wall, massive. That is just the biggest sign of narcissism.
Or as a mirror, right? Who is it?
Mhm.
Who
I
is the
disagree.
prettiest of all? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Can see something different. I can see a cattle which is south note, being born from the previous life to coming here.
Oh, so that wouldn't be Venus for you. What would the world be for you?
It's a cattle.
Yeah, but what planet would it represent?
That's
for
a
you?
no a south note. It's not planet. It's a calculation.
Oh, it's not. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's a called a south note. It's for me like from the past life you're coming up. That's a portal.
So who would represent the Venus for you?
Empress, obviously, she is as well. Queen of Cups could be, or King of Cup.
Because they're emotional.
Yes, emotion. I think all of those code cards in Nine Cups, that's Venus
Coming from their heart.
heart, yeah.
They put that first because they're holding that cup out in front of them. So they're making it like they're being more, can I help you? I care about you. I want to help you.
As well, Lover's card, right?
Of course, the lovers. And they're naked.
The Ten of Cups is a beautiful card for romance. It's a more mature romance.
Yes.
It's the love that turned into kids. I mean, there's fertility there. There's romance because you need fertility to have kids, right? The Ten of Cups.
It represents to me the happy ending, in a movie. That's that whenever I see the Ten of Cups, I think of, you want the love, the kids, the family, the happily ever after. Yeah, that's what I see with the Ten of Cups. What about Mars?
Oh.
Opposite of our Venus.
Oh. What does it represent, Susan? Mars.
Well, it symbolizes energy, so there's lots of cards with energy out there. But it also masculine, of course, and he's a god of war. So it's going to be aggression and self-defense.
So aren't those contradictory? I mean, one is energy, war, and the other one is self-defense. If you're defending yourself, you're not attacking. So it could be both.
It could be both.
One's defensive, one's offensive.
Like it's a war. If you think of a war, one is defending, one is fighting. But they're both involved in a fight.
Because the Nine of Wands is not fighting, but he's ready to, if necessary. Yeah, because he's ready to. He's not he's not charging against anybody, but if somebody shows up, he's ready. He's holding on to that wand.
Would you say the tower represents Mars? The chaos of it, explosion, unforeseen events, like it's just,
No, I see that as
Okay.
Pluto. For me, it's
Okay.
Pluto. Because it's
that's good. Yeah.
yeah,
you're right.
it's something that you cannot avoid. I don't know.
I see the tower as past tense, Susan.
Okay. No, good.
Whereas the Knight of Wands I see as future tense. Well, he's going to do something, whereas the tower, it's already happened.
Yeah, maybe the aces could be, you know, the ace of swords and the ace of wands could be Mars. I mean, they're ready for it. They don't know how it's going to turn out, but you know, here it is. Let's do it.
So I just want to go back to the tower because Susan said the tower reminds me of Mars. I'm just trying to understand. Is that because it's an explosion of energy, like a battery or a balloon bursting? Or
Yeah, it's just a burst of energy
yeah,
because
okay,
Mars does represent energy.
okay. Because Anna's, I see what Anna said in the beginning with the ace cards. That makes complete sense to me because it's starting. Same as the for me, the Knight of Wands. He's a good starter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put him in the same team with the aces. I'd put him with them because he'll be well suited there.
I think Mars energy could be as well in Chariot and King of Swords because that's being fast. But when you look at as well under symbolisms of the Mars, it means brother. So the brother could be Page of Swords, younger brother, or Knight of Swords as an older brother.
Mm-hmm. What about Five of Swords? The fighting, aggression.
I see the Five of Swords as the sun ill dignified because it's all about me. You know,
Yeah.
it's the bully, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yes.
bully is
Yeah.
usually about image. I don't know. I find the sun very connected to image. So that man has an image issue. He has to prove himself over and over and over and over and over.
But he's also using force to get what he wants.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he is. So good point. Can we blend? Can we have two planets in one card?
Yes, if you
Can
can.
we, Susan? Yeah, you can. Okay.
If you feel that energy, there is definitely a connection. I think more likely would you feel it's maybe zodiac sign as well. So that could be, you can feel the zodiac sign combined with the planet in the cards. We can discuss it in next podcast. Okay, so who's next? Oh yes, our famous teacher Jupiter represents expansion, luck, fortune, happy card, teachers.
The card for Jupiter would be the sun.
Okay.
Expansion, enthusiasm. Yes, the world is mine. You know, the kid has the open arms. So, yeah.
I mean, we could argue and say almost any of the ace cards are expansion because they start at the beginning and they get somewhere. But I'm going to go for expansion. Here's a strange one, and I'm going to try and justify it. I'm going to say the Page of Pentacles. Because
Okay,
the Page of
makes sense.
Pentacles is something in the beginning. It's about growth. You see, the Page of Pentacles eventually becomes the King of Coins. Because you see that little coin that he's got. He's already got the field plowed in the background. He's already prepared. He's going to turn that coin into bigger coins.
He's the beginning of expansion.
At the beginning, end of the expansion, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Fool? That's the ultimate expansion. I mean, he's beginning, he's jumping, and he doesn't really know where he's going to land. He doesn't care.
I mean, it could be representing the luck, believing in the luck, good
Looking
luck.
for his fortune.
Yeah,
Looking for his fortune because he's taking a bag and he's jumping out there.
yeah, trusting whatever it is. Trusting,
Yeah.
ultimate trust.
For me, Jupiter card is definitely in the deck is Hierophant because he is practicing the religious practices and he's teaching and people are listening.
Makes sense.
The expanded
really-
energy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I think it's in a tarot card that the Hierophant is represented by a mushroom. And then there's that connection called mycelia where the fungi connect with each other underneath the soil. But that's a network. That's a type of network. And that makes perfect sense. And you said the Hierophant as expansion. Yeah. The idea is you start somewhere, but you just spread the word, right? Basically. Yeah.
Do you think it's fair for me to say that all the aces are expansion? You see the Ace of Coins. That might not be an expansion because you might have started off with a good start and then it all went, wrong along the journey. So it's a card of decreasing instead of expansion.
Isn't that like could represent luck? The pentacles, it's a card of luck. So it doesn't mean it has to be huge, but but at the same time, Jupiter does represent luck, good fortune.
What about the Wheel of Fortune? Would that be Jupiter?
Oh yeah.
Well, representing luck, yeah, I would say that.
That's the ultimate
Definitely.
fortune, right? The wheel.
Yes.
Could it be bad fortune?
Could be either.
Yes.
Because the planets aren't always positive. They represent. We already looked at Mercury, right? Mercury retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a retrograde Jupiter, that could be different story as well.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move to very karmic planet, Saturn. It's very important in Jyotish. Boundaries, limitation, discipline, clear-cut definitions, tradition. I will add karma.
I know we mentioned the Hierophant for Jupiter, but it could also represent Saturn to me. Because there are it's a very disciplined card. Boundaries, tradition.
So is the Ten of Pentacles. For me, that's the ultimate tradition card. The Moors, that's not how this family does that. You have to follow certain rules over here. Your grandfather used to say this. So that's, to me, it's a lot of limitation. And I think Pavlina mentioned that the Eight of Swords, right? For limitations.
Yes.
I can also see the Wheel of Fortune as karmic because for me, the Wheel of Fortune is cyclical. It runs around in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's a trump card as well, it speaks of the higher, not on this earth plane, but things of higher. And then I can agree with the Hierophant card because I always believed Saturn makes the rules. And I always believe, because my astrology is not very good, I only know basic astrology, but to me, Saturn is the rule maker. It's a crappy job, but somebody's got to do it. And he makes the rules and he gives you restrictions, or the planet gives you restrictions, whether you like it or not. And sometimes those restrictions need to be there, probably for your own good. And the Hierophant is just the ideal card for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean you want him in charge, but he's in charge. That's why I chose the Hierophant, because I think, why does he have to be in charge? But he is, and that's Saturn.
What about Justice? Horrible card. I'm a Libra, but I hate that card. Yeah. Clear-cut definitions. It is what it is. Just bring me laws.
But they're traditional. Saturn's traditional. So justice is traditional to me.
Saturn is really caring about your past, what you've done. So that's why Saturn is very, very important. For me, it's a hermit. Because he's showing you the path and the light path where you're supposed to go. If you are not going to follow the path where he's showing the light, you are getting lost. So hermit is definitely for me Saturn.
Because for you, it's connected to the past.
To the past, but as well the wisdom, Saturn is showing you the life path where you should go. You need to do, because there are some parts you cannot avoid. You have to do it. You signed the contract to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Planet Earth, so you have to follow it.
Oh, so is justice. I
Yes.
mean, your past deeds, you will have to pay, right? You'll have to do time for your past deeds if the past deeds were not okay according to rules. So some people associate it to karma as well, the justice card.
Yeah, I agree. It could be of justice as well.
You're paying your dues.
Yes.
And what if it's not karma, but just rules, like King of Swords? Would the King of Swords work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the King of Swords is like, this is how we do it, yeah, this is my way. Don't you be deviating.
I always see him as a lawyer, so yes.
Yeah, he's a straight talker, for sure. When he tells you something, you know he means it. He doesn't lie, and he knows, and you can't lie to him. He knows.
Tell me something. When you say limitations, could those also be physical limitations?
It could be, it depends on planetary positions, obviously.
No, I'm talking about the tarot cards. For example, a person who bedridden, they cannot get off bed, before they get better. They had an accident, so they're there and they have to, like, for example, the Four Swords.
Yeah.
And the person has to stay there. There's nothing they can do about it. Would that be represented by Saturn, or Saturn is more like an abstract sort of boundary and limitation?
I think Saturn would represent that as well some way, obviously, which is the only planet that could show this obstruction, because it's not just one planet playing around the role to creating such a condition or accident.
Yeah, because you mentioned the Hermit. Age is a limitation, right? If you age, you cannot do things that you used to do when you were much younger. So it's physical. It is physical, and it could also be even mental.
What do you think, Susan? Do you think about Saturn?
Saturn, like I'm looking at the cards, and I'm thinking, I was looking at the Nine of Swords and seeing if I could see the Saturn in her. You may see it that way, or you not see that way. But I just feel like, she's having to put herself through something, so she's limited herself in her perspective, if nothing else. So it's going through a heavy time. She's going through a difficult time.
As well, the blanket is made from astrology symbols.
Correct.
Okay, so shall we move to another one?
Oh, yeah, Uranus, because I'm a double Aquarius. You guys. So Uranus is a big one with me, yes, because it represents the future and freedom and rebellion and independence. And really, I feel like our time right now in the world is definitely rebellion, struggling with like a lot of those conflicts. So to me, what card would be that?
Judgment.
Judgment. Raising, yes.
Coming out of the box. Literally, these people are coming out of the box. They heard something and they're ready. They're naked and they're ready to embrace whatever comes their way. They're ready to come out of the box.
Because I know as well Uranus represents electricity. For me, it's the tower. Spark, bringing the spark to society, the tower.
So shaking things up, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Good one.
What else does Uranus do? Because if we're looking for independence,
the future, freedom, rebellion.
Freedom would be the Fool.
The Fool, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Rebellion, you could argue and say the Hanged Man. You could also say Five of Wands for rebellion.
The Magician, because that's, to me, representing the future, like invention and creating. So, and that's to me what the Uranus is a lot about too, is making those kinds of changes.
The Page of Swords is the cocky rebellion. I know it all. Yeah, it's the one that always disagrees with what's being said because he knows best.
The Knight of Swords could be rebellion. Are you staring at my girlfriend?
Yeah, it could. But yeah.
What about Death card as well? That's a kind of cutting through.
Transition. Yeah, big transition.
But that's a harsh transition. That's like
it is.
A needed change.
Well, it's a tradition that has to happen. Something that's, and that's what I think is speaking of the world I mentioned earlier, we are going through I think a big transition. So the death of leaving old ways to go to new ways, and it's never smooth.
No.
Yeah, if you see death as freedom, then yeah, definitely.
It could mean freedom. I mean, I've seen the death card come up once when a person lost a job. And I was like, how do you tell them that actually that's a good thing? Because the cards that came after the death cards, the death card's not always bad. Sometimes it's a needed change. It's necessary.
Mhm.
Yep.
Three of Swords could be as well.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it's just getting the spark to your heart.
Or a combo of that plus the sun, because the truth has been revealed.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
It is not a good truth, but it is the truth.
Yep.
Neptune, right?
Neptune, yes.
What does it mean, Susan?
It represents illusion, symbolizes glamour, sensitivity, and addictions. Definitely we have the devil there, right? The addictions card.
Yes, Susan, the devil, addictions. Yes.
Yep.
The Queen of Wands, even though she is a wand, and Neptune is not fire. She is the queen of glamour. She looks at herself in the mirror all day long. She's very
She's
vain.
beautiful, the Queen of Wands. I love her.
But she's
Yes.
very vain too. So, never leaves home without a makeup or a lipstick in her purse. So I would see her as the glamour part of Neptune, not really illusion. But what about the Seven of Cups for illusion?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Illusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seven of Cups,
The moon.
the moon too.
What about Temperance, our famous bartender as well, like
Do you see that as what, Pavlina?
as a Neptune?
Yeah, but why?
It could mean like I can see just my own cups. I can't see others. I'm lost in myself. It's like could be meaning person is addicted to something.
What about the world card? Do you think that would be illusions?
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that because you can see she's standing there or is there naked and she's maybe made a false, could be a false impression on what the world is around her.
As well the moon card, right?
Right.
What about the sensitivity part? Sensitivity could be many cups cards. Jesus. I mean, Queen of Cups, Page
Mm-hmm.
of Cups, even the King of Cups. He doesn't say much, but he's a sensitive guy.
What about the Six of Cups? Because I find that's he's showing sensitivity to the little girl or the woman there.
And also, just cups cards just ooze of emotion anyway.
I think it could be as well judgment because it's perfuming. Neptune means creativity, music, performing for other people.
What about the Nine of Pentacles? We discussed her in one episode as, being self-sufficient. There's a lot of glamour about that card. She's got money, so she's probably well-dressed when she presents herself at parties. She's always the one people look at. So in a way, a little bit similar to the Queen of Wands, but with a little bit more class, I think.
Glamour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more
I
classy.
mean, that dress that she's wearing in the Nine of Pentacles, that's handmade. And they did handmake them in those days. But in today's representation, it would be a handmade dress.
Yep.
Like measured to fit, right? Like a wedding dress. It's measured to fit you.
Yeah, like a Dior thing, right? Yeah.
I can't imagine her as a Neptune because she's very stable in her mindset. She knows what she's doing. Like she's
So you wouldn't see her in Neptune.
no, definitely not.
Yeah, I associate that because of the glamour.
Maybe if she's reversed.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
bought because it's glamour. And for me, the Nine of Pentacles is definitely glamour.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
And because if Neptune is illusion, then
Yeah. It could be a false glamour.
What about star card? Because that's kind of showing the Neptune
yeah, sensitivity, I would say.
sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Or glamour too. I mean, people who act as stars. I mean, they're the star of the show. They see themselves as the brightest in a room or something like that. You know what? I was thinking about the Six of Coins Could that be Neptune? Because it could be an addiction. Sometimes that Six of Swords shows people buying drugs. I mean, there's a person there, sitting on the street waiting for the dealer to show up and, give them whatever it is that they're buying. So, and
They're dependent.
yeah, it kind of expects that will repeat itself tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow, and then 2 days from today. So it's a continuous sort of dependence. So it could be a type of addiction there.
Mm.
Would you say the Five of Pentacles, like those people are, they can't see what's offered to them? Do you think that would be like they're not seeing what's right beside them? Do you think that would be perhaps?
For people that have mentality, what do they call it? A mentality of somebody who never has anything.
Mm-hmm.
This is the mentality of always being poor when they actually are not.
Mm.
That they cannot see how much they do have. They're always complaining about things they don't have.
Poverty mindset.
Poverty mindset. That could be, if they're not really beggars. If they're beggars, I don't know.
Or Five of Cups.
Yeah.
He can't see the cups that are behind him.
Yes, that's definitely.
Where would the word regret fit in any of those planets?
Regret. Oh, that's a good one.
I'm just curious because the Five of Cups is definitely bringing regret vibes.
Well, Five of Cups is definitely regret, which to me, well, I was thinking, I don't know if it would be part of Pluto, which is our next planet, which I see because it represents death, regeneration, unavoidable change, and you're rising from the dead, so that's an easy one to figure out here, and payment for everlasting life.
Mm-hmm.
I see that Five of Cups, a lot of that as regret, and also
I can see more likely regret in Saturn. You can't let go.
mm-hmm.
Stuck with it.
Yeah, if you're stuck.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Life is limiting you.
Nine of Swords is regret for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nine
Me
of
too.
Swords.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I just pictures like, oh my God, what did I do? Why did I do that? Oh my God, what's going to happen? Serious regret there for me. Nine of Swords.
Man, I'm late.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so with Pluto, guys.
Yeah.
So rising from the dead would be judgment, correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yes.
Also Tower for unavoidable
Right.
change. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely the Tower there.
And what about the death card, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Represents
Definitely.
death.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Yeah, but death is rebirth.
You're either dead or you're not dead, or you're rising from dead.
Yeah.
Because everything is cycles.
Yeah.
Well, like a plant, when it goes into fruit, it dies, but it gives you thousands of seeds.
Yeah.
It dies to regenerate.
I think it's an Eight of Cups because that's an eclipse on the card, and it's at unchangeable, you can't avoidable changes, right? That's a really, really dark time there. So Eight of Cups.
Could you do the Six of Swords? The Six of Swords of moving on?
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from a situation?
Yes.
Just to make it clear, because I said that the Nine of Swords was regret, because the Nine of Swords is regret because you could have prevented that, which is different from the Death card, which is unavoidable change, and the Tower. To me, I'll just a little bit clear on that.
Yeah.
Just in case you're wondering how I got a Nine of Swords, it's because they could have avoided that. That's why they have regret.
Yeah. The Ten of Swords, definitely rising from the dead. I mean, that man is pretty dead.
So payment for everlasting life. would that be judgment?
Explain that to me. I was a bit confused there. What do you mean by payment for everlasting life?
Well, that would be to me karma,
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
right? So it's to me a karma card. It's like I'm paying off a debt in order to, it kind of reminds me, totally not necessary tarot, but about, but when Dracula, reminds me of Dracula. So, because it's, they're alive, but there's a price for that being alive.
Okay.
So let's look in, and then so in tarot,
Two
what would
of
that?
Pentacles.
Ah,
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to
mhm.
balance one and the other because you cannot let any of those fall. I mean, you have to keep the two opposing things going, even though they're completely contrasting with each other, and you cannot let them down. To me, that's you'll have to deal with these two at the same time.
Are you talking about bad karma, Susan?
Well, it could be, I guess, either or, because we're always on a cycle of dying.
I'll
Yeah.
ask that because, like, if you come back because you were naughty in a previous life without using the Wheel of Fortune, because to me that's karma, would be the Five of Coins. You know, like if you were Scrooge in a previous life, in this lifetime, you're the Five of Coins, and that's paying a debt for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe that child is crippled for their whole life and it's disabled them for their entire life. That could be karmic.
Well, the 10 of Wands could be that too, Greg. If you're thinking about previous life, yeah, the 10 of Wands is also baggage. You may be bringing that.
Yes, definitely baggage. Yes, but you can get good karma. Like
Yeah.
good karma would be
Yeah.
like the Fool,
Yeah.
the Sun card. You know, there's lots of good karma cards.
Calculation points, North Node and South Node. What do you use North Node?
To me, North Node is you've come into this life, and this is your future, the things that you're going to work on in this future. And they are challenging, but they're meant to be, this is something you're going to grow and develop yourself. So it's meant to be a more positive thing than negative. And not to say the South Node is bad. South Node is your past, things that you bring into this life, and you're having to it's kind of pulling on your North Node, because your North Node say, this is where you're supposed to go. The South Node say, well, this is where I'm comfortable. This is what I've known. But you're here to leave that behind in order to move forward. But you're going to be challenged constantly with that South Node pulling at you. So it's to me, what would be South Node? Looking at tarot cards here.
The Hermit?
The Hermit or the Moon. You're coming from what is known to something, then emerging into the North Node.
So coming from the unknown into the known, is that what you mean?
Right. Yeah.
As a concept, or like innovation, right? Starts in the mind and then you manifest it.
Yeah, no, this is different concept because Rahu and Ketu are calculation points, or North Node, South Node, I have to say. Like as Susan mentioned, Rahu is, would you sign today? Would you sign up when you were born on this planet Earth? You sign up, that's what you have to go through, and that's kind of your purpose of the life where you're shifting your energy. And that's why for me it's a devil, because you can't escape it, this energy. That's something you were born with here. And with the South Node, it's something what you used to be comfortable in previous life. It will literally show some of your good and bad deeds in the past life for me as a Jyotish astrologer. And that's why for me, like Ketu is wild card, because you are born from the previous life and you are heading to the Rahu or North Node. So I can see a devil card as a north node and south node as a world card.
Yes, I see the world card. Or even judgment. What about judgment because you're raising up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be judgment. Maybe for me, it's more spiritually, speaking world card.
hmm It is. It is that like I could see that being what you're saying there, Greg, or alluding to. Is could be the death card, where you're leaving what is known and going and evolving yourself, and it is a challenge. It is a
Yes,
huge
definitely.
challenge to do.
So would that be the north? The north node?
It's the south. Oh, it's
That's
kind of a combo. You're coming from the south to
Oh,
go to the north,
yeah. It's
so
the
you're
process.
leaving.
So, yeah, so you can sort of speak of the south or the north, because coming into the north, the devil card, somebody said earlier, that makes
Yeah.
sense because you're tied down to it. But I'm trying to find a transformation card, and it would have to be the death card. It could be the tower too.
Yeah.
Tower's rebuilding your foundations.
hmm
Um,
But you're leaving it behind, but you are coming with it on the planet.
Tower's gone. There's nothing left. You have to rebuild it.
uh-huh. Yeah. Is the concept of north node and south node only for larger things like your whole life? Or could it be for smaller things? For example, you've worked for a company for 35 years and you were sacked, you were fired, and now you have to kind of start from scratch. Would that be a case of north node and south node, or does it have to be, your whole life and your whole karmic experience and contracts and stuff?
It's a bigger thing than that. Like I look at it this way. My south node is Taurus, which to me was family and tradition and foundation. And in this lifetime, I'm Capricorn, which is big. I felt like I'm here to do independent stuff, much more stand on my own 2 feet, not relying on family. And it could be the reverse, somebody else, because it could be, and I know people that are Capricorn in, say, their south, which is, they come from something that was very, they had businesses or a big expansion or whatever. And now in this life, they have to reconnect with their family. Their life is all about their family and tradition. And we're all like that. We're all playing something known against something unknown. So when you're looking at tarot, it's like looking at, okay, what's known here and what's going to the unknown. And that's probably the best thing when you're looking at tarot. What's known, what's unknown.
What's the name? Uh-huh.
Well, that makes sense because when I do a spread like the Celtic cross, everything that's below the center line to me is what you don't tell people, secrets, things you don't like, or, and whereas at the top, like the North Node in my Celtic cross, is everything that is known, what people say and what people do and what you can see. So, yeah, it definitely makes sense. But I would need 2 cards for that. I have to separate them north and south.
I think the north node and south node generally are not used in tarot reading. If you see that, it's more likely if you do maybe that's what's happening there. But when I'm looking at the calculation points or entities, I think those are more reflected in generally in position of the person's life. So, for example, you could do tarot reading and you don't know what time you were born. You can ask, what is my north node right now? Because there will be transit of north node doing. And you will see, for example, 2 of cups card, or you will see the tower. So this is that energy you will use. I don't think you will be reflecting for the job search on or something like that in a tarot reading.
Something bigger. Uh-huh. Got it.
But at the same time, for us here today, we're looking at the devil, which I think is a good card, or the tower. So they're good shift cards.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. please like, subscribe, and follow us. And feel free to leave a comment.